Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Warframe Wednesdays. I'm your host of the most, as always, Francois878, and today's episode topic is going to be the new Excalibur rework and what my opinion is on it. Spoilers, I'm a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Excalibur as he currently stands in the game. He's not my least favorite frame, but also, I can take him or I can leave him. But with these new reworks that they've proposed for Excalibur, I am a big fan. And I think that it'll do a lot of good for him in the game. That being said, we did do a platinum giveaway last week. I had people enter their favorite Warframes for a chance to win 75 platinum. I have come back with two winners. These two winners have won a 75 platinum code. These people can contact me on YouTube through a private message or on Twitter at Francois878. Either way is acceptable. The first winner is Nick the First. Nick the First, spelled exactly how it sounds. And Yeti_fan. Those are our two lucky winners this week for a 75 platinum code each. Congratulations to those guys. Like I said, please contact me on YouTube or Twitter, DM or PM to get those codes. But moving on to the real bulk of the video here, Excalibur. He is, unfortunately, he's the first frame, so there's kind of, he has abilities that aren't very good, and I'm sure the devs, in retrospect, wish they had not even made. That being Super Jump. Super Jump is Excalibur's third ability, and it is exactly what it sounds like. Excalibur just jumps really high up into the air. That's it. I think maybe back then, Heavy Impact was they were like, oh man, everyone's going to use Heavy Impact, it'll be great. This is not Mario, so no, unfortunately. Heavy Impact is not as hip a mod as I think Digital Extremes would have wanted it to be. So Super Jump is kind of a useless ability. That being said, that kind of leaves Excalibur with three abilities, really of only of two that are really worth, even saying anything about. Radial Blind and Radial Javelin are his two abilities that I would recommend building for. Slash Dash, which is his first ability right now, is really more for just traversing the environment than actually damage. It's kind of a lame ability. You just dash forward and you hit anything that's in your way. It's not a subpar ability. It's certainly better than Super Jump, but it doesn't take much to be better than Super Jump. Slash Dash is just not really my cup of tea. Radial Blind is a great move. It blinds everyone in the radius, and they can't shoot you for the duration. It's a really great move. It can be augmented really well, and if you combined it with Banshee's Silence, you can actually guarantee finishers. And it can be a really interesting combo. So Radial Blind, I would say, is my favorite ability on Excalibur, hands down, and it makes him a very interesting CC character. Radial Javelin, though, is also a really solid move. If it's modded correctly, you could easily kill up to 60 or 70 enemies, level 60 or 70 enemies, with no problem. With Radial Javelin. It's a pretty solid move. It's just a AoE damage, and I'm happy that it's still in the game, despite, I figured with all of DE's hate towards people on Draco and Kappa and the rep farming and the XP farming, that I figured Radial Javelin may not, it may have been kicked to the curb with Super Jump, and they just take it out of the game altogether. But as it turns out, Radial Javelin is going to be moving to his third ability, to Excalibur's third ability. It'll be replacing Super Jump, and Excalibur will be getting an all-new alt, which I'm really excited about. But I guess it's now the appropriate time to get into the rework here. The first big thing with the rework is the change to /dash, which you just saw me use a few seconds ago. Basically, it's going from just a straight dash forward to a ping pong effect. It's going to be, you're basically going to ping pong off of enemies that are in the radius of the attack, and you'll be dealing damage to each of them, which I'm a really, really big fan of. I think that is an interesting ability. It kind of loses its, traversal benefits. You can't really clear a room as efficiently with it, but we'll see. I think it's an interesting ability. It reminds me a lot of Ash's ult, Bladestorm. So we'll see how it goes. I'm all for it. I think it'll be a very interesting ability. My question is kind of, I don't remember seeing it in the dev stream when they were showing off Excalibur's abilities, but in the dev stream, I'm not sure what'll happen if you use /dash and there's no enemies around. I don't know if it'll just say, oh, you can't, invalid target, or if it'll just allow you to dash forward, like the old version, and it'll only, if the ability will only ping pong if there's an enemy in the radius. So if that's the case, if it'll allow you to just dash forward if there's no enemies around, that means the ability will still have a traversal benefit. It'll still help you get, from point A to point B, but will also be less of a pain to aim, and it'll be a little bit more interesting to use. So that's the /dash, basically, rework. As far as I know, Radial Blind isn't being messed with at all, which I'm a big fan of, because I love Radial Blind. So just leave it alone, just don't do anything to it, it's fine. But like I said before, Super Jump is being taken out of the game altogether. It's about damn time. I'm a big fan of that. I think Super Jump is a terrible ability. I don't know what the devs were thinking. And I personally, I'm a big fan of Digital Extremes. I think they do a lot of good things. I think that, Warframe is a great game, but fuck me if Super Jump is a terrible ability. But like I said, Radial Javelin is being moved down to his third ability, and is staying in the game. And we are getting a new ult, which they did show off, I believe in dev stream 53 or 54. I want to say 53, though. Where basically, it's a lot like Valkyr's ult. Excalibur will draw an energy sword, and he'll use this energy sword to destroy and just wreck house. Basically, the energy sword, you can use it in close range, but you can also use it at a distance, because as you slash, a wave of energy will leave the sword and hit enemies for damage. And I'm a big fan. Excalibur is finally getting an Excalibur. It feels also a lot like Legend of Zelda with the, with the energy blast waves. I saw it and immediately liked it. I thought that it was very Warframe, and it was a very solid replacement. I think that really any ability would have been better than Super Jump, but having more abilities like Valkyr's is really good. I'm a big fan of Valkyr. I think she's a very unique frame. I don't think there's a lot of frames like her. And I think her ult is a big reason for that. So to see Excalibur kind of get something that's similar but not quite the same, because I don't think he'll be invincible while he uses it like Valkyr is. So it's similar but not exactly the same. I think it's a nice touch, and I think the rework is going to be great. But that and all this rework stuff should be released tentatively TM soon, around update 17. That's the date that the devs gave on the dev stream. So none of that is set in stone, but I think they're looking for an update 17 release. So that's been the video, guys. Thank you very much. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And those people who won platinum, please contact me. Thank you very much. This has been your host with the most, as always, Francois878, signing out.